Okay, a little more spoilers right now. First of all, I was right. My buddy Licorice Rub watches these, which is really cool. Um, and he's a blogger and a movie reviewer, and I think a much more astute movie reviewer than I am. Movies are his life. Movie like what I like. What by all means, I'm gonna put his blog in the description. Check out his blog because it's like he's very he makes a point to like watch like a movie every day. And I've always wanted to be the guy that watches different movies from various generations. And I definitely collect movies. I definitely get a lot of them, but I'm not. I still. I don't think I still think I've never seen Citizen Kane, and I know that's sacrilege saying that, but it's like there's a lot of stuff I still haven't seen, and I want to see it all. I want to see classic black and white movies. I want to see exploitation films. I want to see just like whatever anybody's got. Well, Licorice Rub, he does it. Licorice Rub, he goes that extra mile to check all sorts of things out, and a lot of things I've checked out because of him. So anyway, we did a collaborative. We've done a couple little collaborative reviews, or I've commented on a couple of his blogs, and like one thing is like he made predictions for Infinity War, and I pointed out in my response to that was two things. One, it's like, well, in terms of who's gonna die, I said everyone's gonna die. And I said, Vision's gonna die. And I was right. Everyone died. And again, as a fan of the comic, I don't know what it says about me, but I had a heart on, man. I was like, his nipples were erect. It's like, yes, everyone's dying. I'm fucked up. Anyway, it was just, but it was a beautiful tragedy. It was just so, and like, it was just so crazy. Especially, it was people, and it didn't stop. It started with Bucky, and then it kept going. And then Black Panther, of all people, goes down. Like, all the Guardians go down. And instead of the Black Panther, we're left with Kwame. We're left with his general. That's it. To stand up against Thanos. It's like, that's fucking wild. All the Guardians except for Rocket. Scarlet Witch, Vision. And it just kept going and going and going, and people kept dying. And, again, my friend who will remain unnamed said this, and I agree 100% with this. This one death in particular was Spider-Man. In fact, pretty much everything that happened to Tony at the end. Oh God. It just all the Guardians, one by one, unavenged. Drax unavenged. Mantis murdered. Star-Lord knowing he couldn't stop the person that killed the woman he loved. Doctor Strange, Tony, this was the only way. Gone. And finally, Peter. And just hearing him cry out, like, Mr. Stark, please, I don't feel so good. Mr. Stark, help me. And again, it was, and again, my friend who will remain unnamed echoed that basically this was, the way they set this up in these stories, that basically really Iron Man is like kind of a surrogate father to him, which is something that happened in the comics during the Civil War. And essentially, Iron Man watched his son die. A person he got involved in this. He got out here. He couldn't save any of them. And the only person he's stuck with on that fucking planet is fucking Nebula. Grouchy alien cyborg. That's who he's left with. And then the ending. I want to kind of get, well, I want to get into some of my nitpicks here and there, but it's like, one of my nitpicks was we never actually saw death. But I have a theory. When the snap happened, and Thanos was suddenly in this orange realm, and we see little baby Gamora, and she asks him, was it worth it? How much did you have to sacrifice to do it? When we first see her, she's silhouetted. I predict that was death. I think that was death. Can't be sure. But if it's not, and again, my friend also pointed out that what that might be is that might be the soul world. That might be Gamora trapped inside the soul world. We'll have to wait and see. My one other nitpick was Gamora's death. It's like, I'm pretty sure Gamora has superhuman stamina, and really, you just threw her off a cliff and she died. Whatever. Shooting her can kill her, so I mean, it's like, yeah, you hit her in just the right place, and it was very clearly a sacrifice. Things that made me Red Skull. that was pretty awesome. After credit sequence with Fury and Hill was awesome. The one thing I wasn't terribly excited about was the reveal of Captain Marvel at the end. And that's because SJW Marvel. You know, that's just because of the stuff that's going on in the comics right now that has done everything in its power to make me hate Miss Marvel. Yes, I called her Miss Marvel. She was better as Miss Marvel. She was not sexist as Miss Marvel, contrary to what these SJW writers and, like, fanatics who don't actually read comics say. Carol Danvers was always a badass character, a strong woman, a beautiful and sexy woman. She has always basically been Marvel's Wonder Woman. She was a brilliant strategist, a great warrior, and a woman. She was sensitive. She was cool. She embraced her femininity as well as punched monsters in the face. There was never anything sexist about her. There's never anything sexist about her outfit either. Yeah, she shows some skin. It's sexy. There's nothing wrong with showing sex in media. Sex sells, and I don't know about you, far left, but some of us have a libido and like to see things that turn us on. And there's nothing wrong with that. And on top of that, there is no double standard because the men are equally wearing skin-tight clothes and are really sexy looking. That's why we don't see a whole lot of fat male superheroes. Okay? Wolverine and Cyclops back in the 90s were wearing skin-tight outfits where you could see every single detail of their muscles, all of their package, and you know what that's for? That's for the ladies and gay men. And anyone else who would be turned on by that. And on top of that, for straight dudes, that's what I want to look like, because I don't look like that. I'm a fat guy. That's what I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to be. Women want them, men want to be them. It goes both ways. It's a fantasy. We want to see pretty people. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, and my friend has assured me that basically, like, given the direction that the movies are going, and from what I've seen too, I don't think we really have anything to worry about. I think, honestly, when Captain Marvel does show up, I think she's going to kick ass. I think she's going to be good. And she's going to be basically in the spirit of what Captain Marvel should be, which is essentially, she's going to be Miss Marvel in everything except name only. She is not going to be the horrible face of everything wrong with Marvel Comics right now, like she is in the comics. So it should be awesome. Finally, the ending. Well, the ending of the movie proper, not the after-credit sequence, but Thanos... Talk about an ending of a film. You know, all the heroes dead except for the original 5 Avengers and a couple of characters scattered here and there. And then, like you say, you know, all these people complain about Marvel. Oh, Marvel's got lame villains. Marvel's got just a villain of the week. All this bullshit, which I don't agree with to begin with. I've never agreed with. I would point out that certain villains are a little, you know, okay, they keep killing them off too much, and it's like, it's just, a lot of times it's like a big scary monster that just wants to kill everybody. It's like, all right, fine. It's a comic book. That's what comics are like. I feel like everybody, including like Castellan, who in my opinion is the worst villain we've seen so far. Actor's great, but Castellan and Doctor Strange to me was just, I'm an evil sorcerer. That's it. That's really all the beginning and end of this character. Everyone who's been playing these characters and you know, they've always, the writing and the acting has always added nuance to them. So far, prior to Infinity War coming out, I'd say Killmonger was probably the best written. Or one of the best written. Because you also have Loki, who from day one, in that, you know, those 2 movies that nobody likes except me apparently, Thor 1 and 2, you've always had Tom Hiddleston being awesome as the tortured Loki, as the guy you can't 100% trust, but at the end of the day, we saw, went down like a hero. And that's pretty great. As did Heimdall. But at the end, it was like, you know, say what you want, you know, about like, oh, the heroes always win, this, that, and the other, and like no depth to the character. How's this for an ending of a Marvel movie? The bad guy wins and goes home to his farm and sits down and looks at the sunset and smiles after a job well done. It was disturbing. It was beautiful. I loved every fucking minute of it. And I cannot wait for Infinity War. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for pretty much everything else Marvel's got right now. They know how to do it. Kevin Feige, he runs a tight ship. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. So yeah, it's great. Well, that's my take on Infinity War. And as for my terrible rant a little while ago, of course Doug Walker and Rob Walker have a right to see Infinity War. My issue is they're continuing to do the same bullshit They always do. Where they keep ignoring the problem and just carrying on without ever addressing it. I want those two have good in them, and I am Luke Skywalker. They are Vader. There is good in you. Resist the dark side. Doug, stop being a pussy, and get away from Mashad, or actually do what's right. Rob, stop being a bully. Not that you have anybody to bully left. Both of you are better than that, and you really need to leave. You really need to break up with Mashad. You really need to break things off with him and start from scratch. To quote Rudyard Kipling, a man can watch things he's given his life for broken and stoop down and rebuild them with worn-out tools. That's what I want you to do. Ranting again. Rambling again. Infinity War's great. Okay, I'm going to talk about Ash vs. the Evil Dead now. See you in a minute.